Good morning, sir. Thank you for granting a request to have you as our interviewee today. Thank you also for allowing us to record you during the entire duration of this Zoom conference. Before we start the interview, can you introduce yourself first?
Well, okay, I'm gonna introduce myself first, no? My name is Kenneth Malyari. Okay, I'm 47 years old, Cebuano. Actually, we arrived in England way back 2003, and then we moved to Wales, still part of the UK, way back 2017. Ang structure ng I'll give you a broad idea ko ng structure ng hospital dito, especially sa pathology department. It's divided into four divisions. May blood sciences. Yung blood sciences, it's more on the biochemistry, coagulation, hematology, and blood transfusion. No? So meron ka rin infectious sciences, yung micro, isa rin siyang discipline yan siya. Tapos may cellular ka rin, yung cyto, saka yung histology, isa rin yan siya. So, yun ang main structure nila dito in regard sa clinical pathology. Iba naman yung anatomical pathology, yun yung mga mortuary, yun yung mga forensic side. So, ang discipline ko ngayon is more on, actually, multidis ako. So, I can do biochemistry, and I can do the whole lab sciences, but more on specialized ako sa hematology and blood transfusion.
I guess you're now well informed and ready, sir, for the questions we are about to ask. For the first question, what does it take to become a chief medical technologist?
Here, okay. When you go for chief medical technologist, okay, you have to have may tinatawag sila na essential sa desirable. Now, in terms of qualifications, you need to have a master's degree. Masterals, no? Masterals. Tapos you need to have enough experience. So mostly kailangan ka dumaan sa from BMS, specialist BMS, then advanced specialist, then you become a chief.
Thank you for your answers, sir. Moving on to the next question.
For the second question, can you pinpoint some of the striking differences between a chief medical technologist and a medical technologist, both in lab duties and administrative works?
Right. A medical technologist itself, it's like, if I put it in layman's term, it's more like the soldiers, right? Okay. If you put in like a military ranking, okay, you got your privates. Okay, your privates are your support worker, or what you call in the Philippines, na mga anong tawag dito, lab technicians, right? And then you have the medical technologists. Our medical technologists is different sa atin na may Medic 1, Medic 2, Medic 3. Okay, most of the Medic 1 and Medic 2 are bench work. Okay? So, Medic 1, mostly bench work. Medic 2, it's mostly bench work, and they will maybe deputizing the Medic 3. A Medic 3 sa atin is a chief medical technologist. Now, like I explained before, medical technologist 3 or the chief medic overlooks everything from training, documentation, service, maintenance, procurement, stock, inventory, and then the overlook. Okay, is more on like a managerial position.
Thank you for that, sir. Moving on to the third question.
As a chief medical technologist, what are your strengths and weaknesses, and how do you overcome the drawbacks?
Okay, I think being a chief medical technologist, it requires a lot of patience and resilience. Okay, you should know how to handle difficult situations. Your emotions and your opinions, you should think what you say before you go. You should be constructive. Might you need to give a criticism to improve someone's ability, but it should be constructive all the time.
Thank you po, sir.
Good morning again, sir. For the fourth question, have you or your colleague given faulty results to a patient? If so, how did you handle such issue?
It's normal now. It's normal. Everybody commits a mistake in the lab. And what is big about this is, like I said before, guys, it's like the preventive measures. How can you put a a measure in place that it won't happen again. Yes, we have. And what example? That we have sent a faulty result, for example, a coagulation sample. Now, the coagulation sample, the additive of the coagulation sample should be precise. It should not be underfilled or overfilled, because if it's underfilled, you'll be sending a false positive or false negative result. It's the same as the overfilled. If you send that, let's say for INR, a patient is warfarinized, the doctor will act to it, and it will happen. As soon as you have that one, then you have to make a DATEX. A DATEX is a kind of a documentation. It's called incident reporting. Now, that incident reporting is categorized into adverse reaction, or near miss. Yung sinasabi ng adverse reaction, there's an implication to the patient's safety. Near miss, na-stop mo kaagad. Okay? You was able to phone the doctor. Sorry, can you stop that? Can you send me a repeat sample? Okay? So, there's an incident ng mga ganyan na nangyayari.
Thank you for your answer, sir. Into the fifth question.
For the fifth question, what is one trait a chief medical technologist should possess, and how should he utilize this to improve one's quality of work?
Diligence and being resourceful. No, sometimes that you need to be resourceful in terms of your skills. You have to be multi-skilled. So to become a chief medical technologist. So, like I said before, you have to gain some experiences. Experience is better than knowledge as well. Okay.
Thank you for that answer. Now on to the last question.
Down to our last question. What was the worst case scenario that you may have encountered while you're in duty? And how did you assess the situation po, sir?
Now, in terms of that, the most scariest part na experience ko is if you're working at blood banking. Blood banking is really actually it's a minor transplant, because you're giving a donor's blood to someone else, the recipient. Okay, and that's you have to be careful about everything that it matches everything from the grouping to antibody, and also the phenotype. So I did once. When I was inexperienced, tapos hindi ako naging careful, sent the wrong group to the patient. Now, there was a transfusion reaction. So, and upon that, there's an investigation. So, I was involved in it because it nearly killed the patient. There's a transfusion. Luckily, it stopped. They had stopped it earlier. So, ang nangyari is mislabeling. So, like I said before, attention to detail is important. Tapos making doon, basta kahit pagod ka na, check and double check before you send anything. Okay? And ang corrective action ko yan, nangyari na naging mas careful ako, tapos talagang hindi ko talaga ni-release pag hindi ako sigurado. Now, it's better not to release anything than to release a false result. Mas huwag kayong basta-basta mag-release ka pa sa lang yung ma-meet yun lang yung target niyo or yung trabaho niyo. Kailangan mas maganda, huwag kayong mag-release kaysa na mag-release kayo ng na may impact sa pasyente. Every day kapag nagtrabaho kayo, put your heart to it and be consensus what you're doing, and attention to detail. Kasi especially if you're working in a lab setting, you're dealing with patient safety. Unahin niyo talaga yung patient safety, Isipin niyo, you have a license to kill. So, isipin nyo na talaga yan. Kaya, attention to detail. Huwag kayong maging complacent. Pag naging complacent kayo, ang isipin nyo, okay, you will either lose your license or ang masama doon, you could kill someone. Kasi if you send in the incorrect result, what will happen? The doctor will act to it. Let's say, therapeutic drugs level na testing. Hindi nyo nakikita yung resulta. Ang mangyayari, ni-release nyo yung result, yung doctor nakikita, yung pala nagkamali kayo. So, alamin nyo yung lahat ng inconsistency, know your stuff talaga. Yung principle ng test, yung follow your SOP, saka diligence na lang talaga.
This ends the interview session. I would like to thank everyone for making time. We, the interviewees, are delighted for your participation, sir. We surely gained knowledge today. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead.